Thank you for those words, Dr. Bradley, and thank you to Meridian Clinical Research for hosting today and for all the work that you're doing to help combat COVID-19. I had the privilege of earlier today of visiting one of Meridian's clinical trial sites here in Savannah and enjoyed getting a firsthand view of the great work that's being done here to battle this pandemic. I also want to thank Governor Kemp for joining us here today and for your leadership throughout this crisis. As part of today's event, I also want to thank particularly all Americans who volunteered for clinical trials, including Dawn Baker, standing there right behind me. As I know all of you know, Dawn's a news anchor here at WTOC, but she's also the first patient in a phase 3 clinical trial for a COVID-19 vaccine. Dawn, thank you for your generosity and your courage in volunteering to be a part of the scientific efforts that will help end this pandemic. It's no secret that the pandemic we're facing has created one of the biggest challenges of our lifetime. And the Trump administration is rising to meet that challenge head-on in historic ways. We've deployed Operation Warp Speed, seeking to deliver safe and effective vaccines by the end of this year. We now have 4 vaccines in phase 3 clinical trials as a result of this collaborative, really all of America effort at Operation Warp Speed. Our focus is not just on vaccines, but also on therapeutics. That is paying off as well. Warp Speed supported clinical trials continue for remdesivir in combination with other drugs, anticoagulants, and other options. We're supporting several randomized controlled clinical trials to produce more data on convalescent plasma, which is a promising treatment which Americans have enjoyed broader access than anywhere else on Earth. We also now have 2 monoclonal antibody products supported by Operation Warp Speed that have submitted data to FDA for potential authorization. Substantial amounts of these products have already been produced and continue being produced as we speak, so they can be distributed as soon as possible if and when they get the go-ahead from FDA. Last week, we also announced a new agreement with AstraZeneca for the development and manufacture of another antibody product as a potential preventative measure for the virus. This would be a long-lasting injection to protect those at highest risk, including especially vulnerable older Americans. Finally, I want to note that we've been actively working to combat vaccine hesitancy in this country, both prior to this pandemic and now here in the midst of it, because a safe and effective vaccine is only as useful as the number of Americans who want to take it. We focused our outreach efforts particularly on minority communities so they have full confidence that an eventual vaccine is safe for themselves, their family, and their community. As part of these efforts, our Office of Minority Health at HHS has launched a $40 million partnership with the Morehouse School of Medicine in Atlanta to develop a network of partners that will help get accurate information on vaccines and therapeutics and other aspects of the virus to minority and underserved communities. So as you can see, we are making real progress against this virus, and this progress would not have been possible without the support and the sacrifice of so many in this state. So thank you all again for stepping up to the challenge and making a real, tangible impact for citizens in Georgia, citizens across the country, and really citizens and people around the world. So Governor Kemp, with that, turn it over to you.